Hi Andrew, so what is your role in the unit and what does a day in the unit generally consist of?
Okay, so my job title is a placements officer, and my job is to, I guess, probably falls into two key areas. The first one is to help students prepare for securing a placement. So help them with the preliminary stuff about producing a CV, getting an understanding of what's possible for them, um, explaining the process to them, and getting them hopefully motivated and interested in the idea. From there on, it's about supporting them throughout along the way. So when they come to me and they're applying for a particular job, it's my job to give them advice on how to approach an application form, and then hopefully if they're successful there, how to be successful in the interview stage or the assessment centre. So really, my job is to promote doing placements and then to help students along the way. Now, some students, to be honest with you, need fairly little help. They're already confident, bright, and driven individuals, and all we really need is sometimes just need to give them a little bit of a point in the direction. Whereas other students, it's a much bigger hurdle and a bigger mountain to climb, and we work with them throughout, a 12-month period, helping them get a little bit better along the way. So it's doing anything it takes really to help students to be successful. But the other big part of the job is to find the opportunities, because there's no point us trying to promote placements if there's nothing for them to apply to. So we have to look for opportunities, which isn't necessarily that difficult. There's a lot of things out there. So looking on employers' websites, contacting employers that advertised with us in the past, and doing some marketing in areas perhaps where we don't have a lot of placements, to ensure that there is a range of opportunities for students to look at. In terms of a typical day, the common elements that are always coming up are there's always students coming in who need help with applications. Some of them, just as I said before, need a little bit of advice and guidance. Others need much more sort of fundamental changes and suggestions. So we tend to try and encourage people to come in the afternoon, so we're always free to help them there. We also hear from employers, so a typical day would involve dealing with employers' emails or requests or inquiry to employers, and we have to sort of get a sense of it, is what they're wanting to do something that the students would want to do and that we can help them with. And we help an employer draft an advert and put it onto our website. We also spend time dealing with students who are currently out on placement, because we've got about 200 students out on placements now, and not everything is always plain sailing. Some of them have got issues with employers, then perhaps some of them are meeting targets, some of them are unhappy. So you have to be able to support and encourage those, not only those who are looking for placement, but those who are out on placement as well. We get employers coming to do presentations, so we have to facilitate that. I go out and see students on placement, so it might be around, spend some of my day doing that. So it's a great job. It's very varied. Get to meet lots of people, students from different parts of the world, different stages in their career. See lots of different employers, and also working with academic staff, trying to help them to improve the employability of their students, really. So
You talked about like the employees you work with. Like, how do you create them opportunities, and like how do you maintain like the relationships with the employers?
To be honest with you, the best approach, I think, is to, rather than trying to sort of reinvent the wheel and going out there and trying to persuade employers to think about placement students, is to look at what is currently in existence. Because if you know where to look, there are lots of opportunities out there. So we would basically look at employer websites to see where placements are advertised and put them onto our own site. Companies that have got a track record of advertising roles with us, then we would go back to them, either a telephone or an email, and see if they're keen to take a student this year. We also get inquiries coming into the placement unit. The university has a strong reputation for placements, and that means organisations sometimes contact us, and it's important that we follow up those inquiries diligently, encourage the employer, and try and help them in any which way we can. Sometimes inquiries lead nowhere, and perhaps an employer has not quite, their timescales don't work for us, or they're perhaps not realistic about what a student can do, or they perhaps don't want to sort of pay or anything like that. So we have to use a bit of discretion really. And we also, if there are areas where there is a shortage of opportunities, then we will try and do some marketing activity to generate interest from companies.
What would you say are some examples of the best placements that you've obtained for students?
Well, sometimes people assume the best placements are the ones with the high-profile, glitzy companies. So this year we've got students with companies as prestigious as Rolls-Royce, IBM, L'Oreal. What else have we got? Big companies with Unilever. You know, a lot. So you might assume that the best placements are with the big prestige organisations, and they are great roles. But there are a lot of great placements with companies that you wouldn't necessarily know about. You know, if I said to you companies like Red Cats or companies like Top Cashback or companies like Bosch, when I've been out to see these companies, the students are getting a fantastic experience. For me, the best placements are the ones where you're working in part of a team. So you're not just, if you're a marketing student, you're not just essentially said, you go away and do this, but you're working as part of a team. So you're getting to learn from people who've already established themselves in the role. Also, the best placements are the ones where you get pushed and you have real responsibilities. And I'll be honest with you, most placements are around people just, excuse me, making cups of tea and doing filing. So it's where you're working in a supportive environment, learning from experienced people, where you've got real responsibilities, and it's difficult, where you're having to challenge yourself and move. The best placements are environments where students feel happy and alive and are enjoying the experience. I sometimes think students have a perception of the world of work is essentially the end of their life, and once you start working, it's all humdrum dreariness. Whereas there are loads of placements where people have a great time. They're working with great people, dealing with clients, doing exciting things. So I would say the hallmarks of a great placement are working for a great team, doing something that you enjoy, and something which is challenging you and testing you, and making you have to think a little bit, not just something that you can do, as a matter of routine.
You've been working in the placement unit for 2 years now. Obviously, quite a lot has changed in that time. What does the next few years hold for the placement office?
I think that there's a constant challenge. Whilst there are lots of opportunities out there, there's a lot of competition. And whilst our university has always put a lot of emphasis on placements, we've always had sandwich degrees. Universities who traditionally haven't done that are starting to put resources and emphasis into it now. More traditional red brick universities are now encouraging students to do placements. So the competition is increasing, and we need to basically get the message across to students of the importance of doing a placement, but getting them to be practical and realistic about this and understand that it's a challenging process, and they need to have show that they've got the sort of skills and personality to compete. And just by virtue of the fact that you're on a degree course is not anywhere near enough. It's the other things that a student has and does that really mark them out. So people who get involved, do volunteering stuff, work on projects, use their initiative. It's so important to get people to realise that there are great opportunities out there, and being at university is the payback from it is it does set you up for these kind of opportunities which you couldn't do if you were on a sandwiched course at university. And if you get one and you do well on it, it can be the platform to a fantastic career. If you get a placement with, for one of an example, Vauxhall, I'm just looking, we've got their poster on there. Vauxhall don't have a graduate recruitment scheme. What they do is they recruit their graduates from their best performing placement students. So you do well at a company like Vauxhall on placement, then you're potentially going to be, get offered a graduate role. And if you get into a graduate role with a company like that, then that is the platform for for a fantastic career, really. So the challenge is to make students aware of this, to to kind of like fight through all the other stuff students get emailed and told about, to make them see this is something you really should consider. And then it's about raising the standard of our students so they can compete. And it's not, it's not straightforward, it's not easy, but that's the constant challenge that we've got to try and deal with, I guess. Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that'll do.